The Nigeria aviation sector has expressed readiness to resume activities as the federal government prepares to lift the ban placed on air travels. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, who announced this during the flight simulation exercise at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, also ruled out the new guidelines for passengers at the terminal and while boarding the flight. Adeshewa Odushoga now reports.
After 3 months of inactivity, the Nigerian aviation sector is beefing up preparations to reopen airports and resume operations, beginning with domestic flights. To ensure that this is done in compliance with the federal government's COVID-19 guidelines, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika leads other members of the Presidential Task Force to inspect the facilities ahead of the reopening. At the end of the inspection, the minister, who told reporters that the airport was 90% ready for domestic flights, also read out new guidelines for passengers of both local and international airports.
First and foremost, we must be at the airport 3 hours before our flight for local flights. 3 hours before our flight for local flights, so that all of the protocols can be done and we're able to depart on time. For international, once we're going to open, I am sure it's going to be minimum of 5 hours before your flight. You must be at the airport. You would see that physical distancing is established by marking the floors and by marking all areas, including that of ticketing and that of the place where you get checking in, where you get your boarding passes.
While addressing the economic impact of the closure on the sector, Sirika said government plans to provide palliatives to stakeholders of the civil aviation industry who have been badly affected financially since the airport was closed in March.
Government, in its wisdom, is putting something together to help the entire industry, right from the car hire all the way to the air pieces of our world. So the owners of airlines and aircraft, down to travel agents, down to ground handling, all to food vendors, and people doing businesses around our premises that have lost income.
Other members of the Presidential Task Force present at the inspection commended the conduct of the staff at the airport, stressing that all passengers must take personal responsibility with the effective use of face masks and keeping physical distance.
Just by looking at the way the security people at the airport and the people giving you tickets are behaving, you know that things have changed. And why have things changed? Things have changed because we have a disease that is killing people. And we have a responsibility for our own health. I'm pleased to say that aviation has done spectacularly well. It now depends on Nigerians to be disciplined.
Unless individuals take personal responsibility. For example, the toilets, that new toilets that we saw, is boldly written there that not more than 5. But don't be surprised that people can just rush in there, 10 of them, more than that. So we may have to put in place some kind of enforcement.
As passengers wait patiently for the resumption of flight operations in Nigeria, which have been stalled for over 3 months, there is going to be a lot of unlearning and relearning of basic protocols, resulting from drastic changes in the operations, no thanks to the outbreak of COVID-19. Adeshewa Odushoga, TV360, Lagos.